What is up, YouTube? That's here, and today I'm super excited to be bringing you guys another Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl team building guide. The last couple guides I made did really well. You guys liked them a lot, so I decided I'd try to make this a little bit more regular thing. And you know what? I've been hit by an inspiration of Pokemon I want to use, and I also want to show you guys how you can build a team to tackle a specific meta or ladder. In the last couple team building guides I did, I based them around Pokemon that I just felt like using, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can build around your favorites, you can build with basically whatever you want. But today, we're going to be taking a look at the actual usage stats for Pokemon Showdown OU, and then we're going to be building a team that counters that. So this is a really cool little tip or trick you can use when you're building your own teams to be able to correctly analyze what's popular and how you can beat it. So, you know, the thing that we're really going to need the most is going to be the usage stats. So you can see I have a picture right here that shows like the full usage stats for the top 10. It goes all the way down to number 30 as well. So let's organize this and just take a look at it just for a minute. And guys, if you guys like this type of content, this little deep dive meta breakdown analysis, think about leaving a like, think about leaving a comment, leaving a sub. Let me know if you want to see more stuff like this in the future. It really does help the channel out. Now, we can see right here, there's some really popular Pokemon. It also shows for the top 10 their percentage of use. And now, the whole Showdown tier system is based off of usage. So the things that are really popular, those things are going to stay in the most competitive aggressive tier, which is overused. So you can see Scizor has a 32% usage. 1 in every 3 teams you're going to see has a Scizor in it. So you should probably, you know, you don't necessarily need to counter the Scizor, but you do need to make sure your team just automatically doesn't lose to it. Otherwise, you're losing a third of your games. The second most popular Pokemon is going to be Gliscor. I'm still surprised to see Gliscor so high, considering it doesn't have Toxic anymore, but, you know, we made a team building video around Gliscor, and it's just a really good Mong. Probably one of the best Defog. Those two Pokemon are probably the best Defog users in the format, and that's one of the reasons why they're so high. Garchomp, no surprise, number 3. Latios, number 4. Breloom, number 5. You can see it goes Clefable, Gengar, Infernape, Starmie. I'm surprised to see Starmie that high, but Starmie's a great Mon. And Manaphy at number 10. And I know right now they're testing Latios for bans, and they're going to test Manaphy as well. You can see it goes down to, you know, a couple other things. Blissey's 19, Tokus 31. I know everyone said, like, Tokus is going to perfectly counter Garchomp in this gen. It's like, look where Tokus is, and look where Garchomp is. You know, just want to say, yeah, I told you so, right? I told you so. Skarmory being 14 is kind of low in my opinion, and even like Jirachi and Latios being that low are still very surprising. But yeah, knowing these usage stats are going to be really important, because you can basically, as long as you counter the mons in the top 10, as long as you're doing a really good job about countering at least 6 to 7 of the top 10 mons without making a team that automatically loses to any of them, you're going to make a team that can basically just come in, dumpster those things, and that's what you're going to mostly be seeing. And then from there, if you can dumpster those things, you're probably going to have a good enough team that can handle anything else the meta would throw at you. Like, for example, right now on this list, what do I see? I don't see a Sandslash on this list, right? But if you make a team that can handle Garchomp, you're going to probably proxy counter Sandslash. So the reason why you only really need to counter the top 10 is because the top 10 are like the perfect examples of the best Pokemon for each of those roles. Scizor and Gliscor are some of the best Defog users. Latios, Garchomp, some of the best Dragons. You know, Starmie, Manaphy, some of the best Water types. You can counter those, you'll counter all other respective Pokemon of those types. So I know that sounds easy, but how do we make a team that does that? And, you know, fortunately for us, because the meta is super early on, we're seeing a lot of Pokemon that have like 4 times weaknesses, and specifically 4 times weaknesses to special attacks. And you've been probably watching my YouTube videos, I've been using a lot of like Special Sweeper Blissey with like Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt. If you actually look at it, other than like Breloom and Infernape, and even if you were afraid of those Pokemon, you can run Chocolate Ray Blissey. That Blissey actually checks all of these Pokemon to an extent, maybe not the Clefable. But, yeah, so you could just run the Blissey, it's just that easy, but we're not going to do that today. Today we're going to be taking a look at a super cool way to play that I feel a lot of people are disrespecting in the meta, and this is definitely a team I think you could take all the way up to, like, you know, the top 100, even make like a seriously rank 1 push, because it's a super cool flowchart team. So, remember how I talked about making a team that didn't automatically lose? You don't really necessarily need to counter them, but you may have to make a team that doesn't lose, so like the top, you know, top 10 mons, preferably like the top 5. Make a team that doesn't automatically lose to those. And so, instead of like teching Flamethrowers and things like that, I'm going to be trying my very best to use mons that Scizor can't like revenge KO with Bullet Punch. I'm going to try my very best to use mons that Gliscor just doesn't really want to Earthquake. I'm going to be using mons that can outspeed and pin things like Garchomp and Latios. That's the plan here. Now remember, Showdown has with it a bunch of rules as well. There's things like Drizzle's banned in Showdown, Baton Pass is banned in Showdown, and so a lot of the Pokemon that abuse those mechanics are not really that great. And so because they're not great, people aren't respecting them in the meta. What if I told you those Pokemon are still actually really good? And even if you don't need Baton Pass, and even if you don't need Drizzle, you can still use Pokemon that get like both of those mechanics, being Rain and Baton Pass. But you don't have to use those things. I'm getting ahead of myself. We're building around Gorebyss today. We are going to be building around Gorebyss today because I still think it's actually just like a really, really good mon. So go to my team builder, set it for BDSP, and we're going to type in Gorebyss. So if I can type them out right here. So you can see Gorebyss. It gets a bunch of cool stuff. No, more notably than anything else, this Pokemon is known for going Shell Smash, which is going to double your offensive stats and give you a -1 defense and special defense drop. And then they normally would Baton Pass it, but Baton Pass is banned. Also, like Drizzle's banned, so the Swift Swim's really a lot hard to use. So back when I hit top 5 in the ladder on like the first couple days the game was out, I used a Swift Swim Drizzle team, and it was easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like, it's super good. It should be banned in my opinion. Like, Drizzle Swift Swim is really, really strong. But that doesn't mean we can't just hard cast our Rain Dance and use this Pokemon correctly. We don't even have to Baton Pass. Gorebyss will become the sweeper. So let's go back and just take a slight look at what Gorebyss does to this meta here. Scizor. Bullet Punch isn't doing that much. Gorebyss also has a pretty good base defense, so Scizor is going to be not that great. Gliscor, not that great versus a water type. Well, Garchomp and Latios, well, if we get that speed boost from either my Swift Swim or my Shell Smash, Ice Beam takes those out. Breloom, take that out with an Ice Beam. Clefable. Clefable's a great Pokemon against Gorebyss, but if they try and switch in, we're going to two-shot them with Surf and the Rain. Even though Unaware can like help them avoid our other multipliers, like the Rain boosted stuff like will still just melt. It'll still be a two-shot. And yeah, like Clefable's okay, and also Clefable would have to be packing Thunderbolt, and you know Thunderbolt isn't that great against most of the top 5, so it's probably not packing Thunderbolt. So yeah, and we're just gonna be built super bulky, believe it or not. So Clefable's not that bad. Gengar, we take that out. Infernape, we take that out. Starmie resists it, but we're going to see we actually have some calcs to take Starmie out. Manaphy resists it, but again, we're going to be able to take Manaphy out as well. And then if you go back down to the rest of the list, like Heatran gets taken out, Dragonite gets taken out. Azumarill's pretty good against us, but you're going to see we're going to be okay against Azumarill as well. Good against Skarmory. We're good against pretty much most of these things, just with one Pokemon Gorebyss. So the things that we're going to want to do now is surround Gorebyss with like the correct flow chart, the correct leads to correctly get our combos off. And then from there, we're going to double up on correctly, safely getting up our combos off, and then having the correct amount of monsters to secure wins. I think that's a really, really important thing. I haven't really even told you guys how the team's going to work yet. But, you know, we will get there in due time. So let's go take a look at this Gorebyss. And remember, guys, when I'm building my teams, more often than not, I don't like to put my items until I have all of my movesets and all 6 of my mons put on, because I don't really want to pigeonhole the mon into being played a certain way. So for my moveset for Gorebyss, I'm probably going to go something like Shell Smash, Ice Beam, because again, we have to check those dragons. We're going to go Surf over Scald just because we want to actually deal the most amount of damage, and we're probably going to go Hydro Pump. And that's just because there's not many other moves that Gorebyss really gets. And you can see we have a good stat line. Like, this base HP is a little bit low, but great base defense, good special attack. Speed's a little bit slow, but we're going to have 2 multipliers on it. The Shell Smash multiplier and the Swift Swim multiplier. And then special defense is totally usable, so it's a great mon here. I will say we're just going to use a White Herb here. White Herb, it restores all lowered stats to 0 when they're less than 0. So if I Shell Smash and get a defense drop, White Herb will cure me of that, and it's really, really good. So, Gorebyss, this is how we're going to be playing it, and we'll mess with our EVs when we need to, but how do we actually make Gorebyss work? That's the thing. We're going to have to get Rain Dance up, we're going to preferably want Rocks up, and we need a safe way to come in with a Pokemon who's going to actually be pretty quick, because we're already going to have a Swift Swim boost of doubling our speed. We need to be able to safely Shell Smash. How are we going to do that? Well, the answer may surprise you. I think a really cool Pokemon for this is Uxie. And for everyone saying like, I don't want to make teams with the legendaries. I'm going to sit you down. I'm going to tell you something here. Using legendaries is not bad. You know, there's a difference between using Uxie and using Mewtwo, right? One of these is a lot better than the other. You can see right now Mewtwo has like at least 1.5 the stats that Uxie has in almost every stat other than bulk. But using restricteds is bad. You know, in a common game, you know, you can play Ubers and play restricted all you want. But using things like Mewtwo, Lugias, Ho-Ohs, you know, Giratina's, Dialga's, you know, obviously, that's its own format. It is what it is. But in a singles game, like, there's nothing wrong with using Uxie or Azelf. There's really nothing wrong with it. Those Pokemon are part of the meta, and if you think that, like, not using those Pokemon is making you stronger, all you're doing is capping your potential early. Like, you're not making yourself stronger by playing with one hand tied behind your back because you're playing a game that you don't know how strong you even could be, right? You have no idea the potential that you could unlock by playing the game with the correct Pokemon. So I'd at least implore you to try it. Have you tried it yet? I get so many people saying that that's a, love your team, hate that you used Azelf, that's a legendary. Legendaries are bad, and it's like, okay, like, I just have to say stay bad to those people, because I'm not gonna make myself worse, and I'm not gonna make you guys worse by telling you to use something that's suboptimal when there's a perfectly good Pokemon to use in those situations. Anyways, that's a whole nother tangent, but let's get back into this. Uxie, what does Uxie bring to the table? How does Uxie enable something like Gorebyss, right? So Uxie, I think we're going to want to build Uxie with Stealth Rocks. Obviously, Rocks are going to be really important, so after we go, once we want to get our sweep on, we make it so they just can't have focus sashes and things like that. It's going to be really, really important. The next thing we're going to want to do is have a Rain Dance setter. Remember, Uxie's going to be using our Rain Dance, and we're probably going to be using a Damp Rock as well to be able to make the Rain Dance last from 5 turns to 8 turns. So that means we Rain Dance, do a couple things, bring out the Gorebyss. We still have like 6 turns left, and then we just Shell Smash and roll them over. It's going to be pretty good. Now, this is where Uxie's really good. So if I lead with Uxie, and you lead with, let's go back, if you lead with literally any of these Pokemon, you can lead with Scizor, I'm going to outspeed your Scizor, so I'm going to be able to guarantee get up Rain Dance if I want, if you're going to eat the U-turn. Or I'm going to be able to get Stealth Rock up if you lead with literally any of those. So I can go Stealth Rock, Rain Dance. And then the move that we use here, by the way, like I said, Uxie's bulky enough to live through every single one of these things other than the Scizor. Let me just take this off. There we go. The move that we need to use here is called Memento. Memento is what makes this set work. So Memento lowers the target's attack and special attack by 2. It's going to give them it's going to give them a sharp drop to their attack and special attack. So we go Stealth Rock, take like 30%. We go Rain Dance, take another 30%. And again, Uxie's faster than a lot of walls. And like things like Latios just can't really break an Uxie. And then we Memento, right? And if we don't Memento and we just die, that's fine. We wanted to get a Rain Dance up, we want to get our Rocks up, that's still a win. But if we get the Memento off, you get put in a situation where, like, they get their stats dropped, and then Uxie faints, and you get a free switch into your Gorebyss. And because their stats are so low, you can Shell Smash safely in their face. Or they switch. Either way, that's a free Shell Smash. You still have 6 turns of having times 4 speed, because you get a Shell Smash speed boost, the Swift Swim speed boost, or times 4, and then you have a times 2 special attack in the rain, so it's actually like a +3 special attack using Surfs or Ice Beams. And we already talked about how Gorebyss perfectly checks almost all of these Pokemon. Even things like Starmie don't want to mess with Gorebyss when we're at +3. So it's a really, really cool, safe way to get this all set up. Last move on Uxie. You could put something like U-Turn. I think Psychic's fine. Just a standard damage move in case you do need to deal some damage. But very, very good set. And it's this Uxie that enables the whole team to work correctly. Now, I want to give a little bit of like a disclaimer here. Not like a disclaimer. I want to give you guys a tip. Remember how in my other team builders, I always said you should double up on the things you know, on your strengths and your weaknesses. Make sure that one Pokemon's not having to do all the work, and make sure you have like multiple options. So we want a secondary Pokemon in case Uxie's not a good idea. Like maybe they have a Tauntmon. Everyone's saying this just loses the taunt. Don't you know that? I do know that. So I actually think we're going to use an Azelf here. And it's like, oh my god, another legendary? Stop, you know? We're just going to use Azelf here. I love Azelf. And again, Rain Dance here. Rain Dance Taunt, so we can taunt them if we want to taunt them from stopping doing stuff. We're going to have U-Turn just in case we need to do something. And again, just Psychic. Just standard stuff. And very similar to the Uxie, we're going to be rocking Rain Dance, or Damp Rock. So Damp Rock right here. So yeah, a lot of the time with this Azelf, we're just going to leave with Azelf. We're going to use Rain Dance, and then they're going to kill us. Then we just go right into the Gorebyss as well. Totally works. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Instead of the U-Turn, I think it's actually better to go Stealth Rock here. I don't know why I had U-Turn there. That's much better. I think that's totally fine, because we just want the Azelf to get taken out. And we'll mess with our EVs again at the the later half of the video. But so far, so good. We have 2 Pokemon that can set rain for us. And remember how I talked about you should double up on your strengths and the things you want to work? What if Gorebyss dies? We need a secondary Swift Swim user that still checks all of these Pokemon. Again, remember, I don't want to be taken out by Bullet Punch. I want good matchups for Gliscor, Garchomp, Latios, Breloom. And I want Pokemons that can like two-shot Clefable on switch-ins. So the Pokemon that does that is going to be Kingdra, obviously. Kingdra, great Pokemon. The king of Swift Swim. You know, Kingdra's absolutely amazing. I think for like a common Kingdra moveset, what we're going to do is we're going to go Flash Cannon, D-Pulse, Surf Hydro, I think. Flash Cannon is just okay. You don't really use it that much. We're probably going to be using a Specs Kingdra. But Specs, Dragon Pulse. I like the Pulse over the Specs just so I don't have to be locking myself into like a -2 move. And then we want Hydro Pump and Surf in my opinion. Just because mostly we're going to be using Surf, but like sometimes you need to Hydro things. So like for example, like a Kingdra Hydro in the rain can KO Clefable if they switch in. And you know, if we only have the one turn to do it, you know, sometimes you got to pull the trigger and go for the Hydro. We'll mess with our calcs in a little bit. Like for example, like if we have like a limited amount of rain turns left and we know that we only have like 2 turns left, it's better to go for the Hydros, and so we can like one-shot Starmies on switch-ins after rocks, as opposed to like going for 2 Surfs. If we don't have the rain turns to like afford the luxury for that. But Kingdra's gonna be really good. Now we've gotten 2 range setters, we've gotten 2 sweepers. The last 2 slots can basically be whatever we want, just helping us cover up for problematic matchups. And I think our 2 biggest problematic matchups are, you know, other water types. They're a little bit problematic. I'd like another potential range setter as well. And then our last move slot should be something for a little bit more hazard control if we need to be able to like rapid spin in case they get like a lot of hazards up or something. So I think we're going to go with a Raikou here. I think Raikou's just really, really good. Raikou keeps Scald in this gen. Raikou just gets so many good moves. We're probably going to go with another Rain Dance. And let's see, let's go Rain Dance Raikou. It gets that big Scald that we can boost. So this also helps check Gliscor and Scizor. And note that again, our team is keeping with the plan of not automatically losing to things like Scizor. And then we're just going to go Volt Switch and just Thunder. Might as well just have Thunder in the rain, right? And I actually think for this Raikou, again, I'm probably just going to go with the Damp Rock. And remember, there's no item clause in singles. That's what I love about this format. I can use as many Damp Rocks as I want, as many Leftovers, as many Sashes, as many anythings as I really want here. And again, we talked about going Choice Specs here. Might as well just put that there. So Raikou's going to be great. And then the last mon, I think Donphan. I think it's time for the boy. I think time for Donphan. And what sets Donphan apart from something like a Fortress is Donphan gets Roar, right? I think Roar is really, really important, as well as they both have Sturdy. So like if, let's say one of my opponent like pops off and they get their own Shell Smash mon off, or they get like a Scizor with +4 attack, or they get like a Gyarados' Dragon Dance like 5 times, I can always just send in my Donphan. They'll hit me, they'll clock my Sturdy, I'll live at 1%, and then I'll roar them out. It's kind of like a get out of jail free card to reset the game in case I let my opponent, you know, set up a little bit too much. So it's really, really important. Also, Donphan does come with Rapid Spin. So Rapid Spin, we're still going to go Stealth Rocks here. And just a standard Earthquake. Earthquake's going to be good at dealing with electric types, but also Donphan being a ground type makes it so our things like Gorebyss, Kingdra, and stuff like that don't really want to eat electric attacks, I can just really switch to Donphan if I want. So it's really, really good defensive typing there as well. And then for Donphan, I think we just want the Leftovers. So pretty cool set. All these Pokemon tend to work together. Now's the part where we start looking at the EVs. And I think EVs are going to be pretty important on this team, but they're going to be pretty simple sets too. So for this, we're just going to go over to the damage calculator. And again, there's still time to like this video. If you like this team, you want to see it do well, and you want to support the content on this channel, think about liking the video. It really does help. But let's take a look at Gorebyss right here. So Gorebyss, take a look at a blank set. So like I said, we're going to be rocking Swift Swim. So it's going to give us a ×2 speed boost. So right off the bat, if there's ever rain up, we're rocking 280, which is pretty fast. It's okay. It's not the fastest thing in the world. It's still going to be under speedy base 100s. 280 is kind of around like base 90 speed, so something like a Lucario. I'm saying about like a Lucario. Like a fully EV trained Lucario. You see it's right around there. So you're outspeeding an adamant base 90 by going, actually you can't even see that one now. Hold on. There we go. You're outspeeding in like an adamant base 90 by doing that like just this set. And I don't think we need to put like that many more points into it, because remember, we're going to be going with a Swift Swim plus Shell Smash, right? So we're actually going to be, not 4 Spadef. We're actually going to be this tier, 420 Blaze at Gorebyss right now, if we want to put any points in speed, which I don't really think we need to. And then from there, because we know that we're not going to need any points in speed, we can put the rest of our points in bulk. And remember, EVs are done different level 100 than level 50. So instead of like putting it around and doing like sets for level 50, I'm just going to make them level 100 because that's what Showdown's played on. And so, believe it or not, I actually think like just a decent EV spread is going to be like this. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that spread right there. Because remember, this is going to double. This is going to go times 4, right? So we don't need to do anything special there. We don't need any points in speed. You could put a little bit in speed if you want to still be able to outspeed base 100s at +2. That's completely up to you. I haven't actually seen it as that big of a problem because I'm usually functioning at +4. And again, what would you really like to outspeed? It's not that you're wanting to outspeed base 100s. It's more so like Azelf's, Latios's Weaviles. And so that'd take probably about 176, 180 points. It's not worth it at that point. You want to be able to have as much bulk as possible so they can't revenge KO you with like extreme speeds, bullet punch, rain boosted aqua jets, mock punches, things like that. You want to be as bulky as possible while still packing about as hard of a punch as you can. There's nothing really wrong with a 252 set in this exact situation. That's just my personal opinion. Let's take a look at some damage calcs though. So we got the Gorebyss here. We're going to be rocking the 252 squad. We're going to be rocking +2. It's going to be raining. And let's just plug in like Surf. And let's plug in Hydro Pump. So, you know, I talked about like Clefable, for example. Let's talk about Clefable. So like Clefable is going to come in here. And so obviously the Clefables are going to be rocking, what is it? The Clefables are going to be rocking Unaware. So Unaware is going to make it so they don't care about our Shell Smash boost. But you can see that like in the rain, they can't really switch in on it that well, especially if they take rocks damage. So they're going to come in. This is still a 2-shot on the Clefable. So it's still like a good enough set to where like, yes, Clefable can like stop us from like one-shotting all of their Pokemon, but they can't come in and just like stop us themselves. They can't try and switch in on the damage. It's really important to note. I think another Pokemon to take a look at is like Starmie. So we take a look at the Starmie here. You can see how much damage that actually does to like a sweeper Starmie. After Rocks damage, there's a high chance, because Rocks does the 12.75 or whatever, there's like a high chance that they're going to be, you know, almost going down after that. If they're taking any other damage, they're definitely going to go down as well. And you go, oh, it's not rain boosted. There we go. I was like, that's not right. Yeah. So they're dead right there to the Surf if they're a sweeper Starmie set right there. If they take Rocks damage, even the low roll will be exactly enough to KO them with the Rocks. So it's super, super important. Even if your opponent has water types, it's not that big of a deal. Things like Manaphy, for example. So take a look at like the Manaphy. So Manaphy is going to be a little bit harder to beat, but the thing is like Manaphy usually wants to set up as well, and they might think that they can. You can just go for Hydras in that. And, you know, if you can ever even a second Shell Smash, just look at this. Look at this. Like, I went to the wrong stat. I did it again. Your Surfs will get to the point where it will KO them after Rocks damage as well. So it's like really, really nice. And you will be able to weave in those second Shell Smashers, I promise you. They're going to have to send out a wall eventually, and they're going to go with like a something, you know, because like remember, you're going to still be, when you're using this Gorebyss, right, what's going to happen is you're going to go to the Gorebyss after the Memento, you're going to get a free Shell Smash off. And you're going to KO the thing after taking a little bit of damage. You can usually actually Shell Smash twice there if you actually are doing it right. And then the second Shell Smash will get a defense drop, but your one defense drop, if you're in a good matchup, getting something that's like not very effective or neutral moves, you'll be able to go for like a second Shell Smash, soak a little bit of damage, and then still be at about 50-60%. And then from there, you don't even have to care about these calcs. You just surf everything and they're gone. They're just gone. So that's Gorebyss. Those are some EV spreads for Gorebyss. And then Uxie. I think Uxie, you again, because your HP stat is so much lower than your defense stat, you want to max that first. Always important to max your HP first when you're building these teams. And then from there, I do care a little bit about physical mons, things like Staraptor. U-turn is a really, really popular lead move. It's usually not stabbed by things other than Scizor. But I want to go some defense, probably about that much. And then I'm thinking I want to go like a 100 Spadef. This 100 Spadef with, the 100 Spadef with a full HP defense makes it so, what is it? Latios just can't break us. What is it? Draco Meteor does like 38% if they're not orbed. And so like we're just absolutely fine. We're super bulky here. And it gives us the good physical defense, because our team does need a little bit of physical defense, just because like those, you know, like I said, the U-turns are really problematic against Uxie. And this set just totally works. We don't need any speed. Let me make sure. Did I have speed on this set? Yeah, I think that was a good set. So this totally works. Azelf, cruise control for cool. 252. I'm going to go 252 in here because I don't really care about my HP stat. And we don't really care if we lose the Azelf here. I'd like to be able to hit my Psychics really hard if I can. So yeah, good set. Kingdra's a little bit weird in that, like, you could just click this as well, but I actually don't think we actually need, like, any points in speed again. Remember, if this Pokemon is good enough to work with no speed, so is Kingdra. Let's go take a look at Kingdra. So Kingdra here. If we have the Swift Swim up, Kingdra's speed's going to go from 206 to 412. And the fastest Pokemon in the format are going to be things like Aerodactyl. So Aerodactyl, for those of you guys who don't know, I'll show it in a sec, is going to be rocking the 394. So as long as we're outspeeding 394, which we do at just +2 neutral, we don't need any points in speed. We're just going to still be outspeeding the fastest Pokemon in the format. So that means we don't really need any points in speed, like at all, like even a little bit. I'll put 4 there because 85 is kind of a common number. And so for fighting other Kingdras that are doing the exact same thing we're doing, which is kind of smart, we'll be able to outspeed those. But there you go, just 252 it again. And there's nothing really wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with these 252 spreads, especially like if you're learning how to play the team. They could maybe be optimized a little bit by taking a little bit of special attack, finding situations where you make like certain moves a 3-shot instead of a 2-shot. But on a spec set where you want to deal big damage and you want to function at the speed tier that you know that you're functioning as, there's nothing wrong with it. The Raikou set, I think Raikou is actually really important. 115 is a really, really important speed number. It's the same thing as Azelf as well. So again, I kind of just want to go like that. There's nothing inherently wrong. I'm going to put my last 4 in HP instead, just because I think it's just smarter. But yeah, I think that maximizing that to be able to speed tie Azelfs, but also like guarantee outspeed Gengars, guarantee outspeed things like Latios. It's going to be super, super important, and it's just really important. As for the Donphan, I could go 252 here as well, but I like putting just a little bit of points over here. I found out I don't need to be full defense on Donphan to be able to be used correctly. And you still want to go with that defense boosting nature though. But yeah, these are just free points. Donphan basically has sturdy, so you don't need to go all in on defense. And putting just a little bit of points into another stat can throw off your opponent's calcs by a couple %. And you know, there's no harm, no foul in throwing your opponent's calcs off by a few %. So let's see. We click the validate button. Are we good to go? Raikou's, oh yeah. For some reason it says Raikou needs to be inner focus, but I don't think it has to be inner focus. It says it's only available from event, and I think it's just how Showdown's coded. But because I'm pretty sure you can just catch Raikou in the game, and I'm pretty sure when you catch it, it doesn't have its hidden ability, so it should be pressure. But team's valid, and we're pretty good to go. Let's see. What should we do now? I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys a replay. Let me go find it. Let me find my replay, and then we'll actually play some games. But I'll show you guys a replay, because I actually built this team and tested one game with it. And let me open this up. Alright, here we go. Let's see what this looks like here. So you can see, hopefully this is not like going to be... Let me mess with this. Music off. There we go, it's a lot better. So let's set it to dark mode as well, because that's cruise control for cool. So this was the first game that I played with this team. It's a pretty good game, and we're gonna show you guys some actual live games in just a sec. But this is just showing you how the flow chart works. So in this situation, I could lead with my Donphan. I've even organized my team to make it look like I lead with the Donphan. And let's see how we play the game if our opponent has a little bit more of a passive lead, because most people are gonna have passive leads. They're gonna want to set rocks first and stuff like that. So let's just play around that. So let's lead off with this. And so we lead Uxie, like we talked about in the flowchart, and they also lead Uxie. Uxie's a great lead. And they just go for a raw yawn. Yawn's an amazing move. We're going to get our Stealth Rocks up first because it's super important. And I just want to pause it. You don't want to get your Rain Dance up before you do all other stuff, because if you go like Rain Dance and then Rocks, what you're doing is you're wasting turns on your Rain Dance. You only have 8 turns of that. So you want to get your Rocks first, then Rain Dance, then Memento. But because they yawned us, I want to get put to sleep next turn. I'm switching out into my Azelf. They pop a light screen, and they're in a good spot. They have yawns. This is where we taunt them up right now. Go for the absolutely massive taunt. And then from there, we know they're going to switch to Feraligatr. I think we're U-turning here. No, we're just, yeah, you're U-turning here. And again, I could just hard switch. I think I took off U-turn for Stealth Rocks here as well. This is where we come with our Uxie, right? So they have light screen up. And now that I know that I'm safe, also, like I said, Uxie, faster than Feraligatr just to start things off. 95 base speed's pretty good. So you can tell it's a bulky Feraligatr. So Rain Dance, Dragon Dance. And so now they're going to be faster than me. They go for a second Dragon Dance. And this is where we Memento them. Right? This is where we get the Memento. It's going to drop their special attack and attack ×2. So this bakes them back down to normal. And I get a free switch. And that was the last turn of their light screen. I correctly weighted out that light screen. It's super important that we did that. So they go for a crunch. Like I said, we're bulky. We're full HP investment. We get a free Shell Smash off right in their face. Look at that. That was a Sheer Force boosted Feraligatr. I don't even care that it did that much damage. And from here, One shot with Surf from the rain. Oh my goodness. Easy peasy lemon squeezy right now. Rain continues to fall. You can see we have 1 to 4 turns. We have 4 turns left of rain. They make a really good play here. They bring out Infernape. I was surprised to see the fake out. That wastes one of my rain turns. That's pretty annoying. But, you know, you can kind of just tell we got the absolutely massive sweep. We fully set up our flow chart. We got everything we need to succeed. Infernape goes down. And, yeah, we still have 3 turns of rain. Right now, they're like, crap, I thought that was the last turn of rain. I'm respecting Uxie here. I'm going for the Hydro Pump just because I want to make sure that it goes down in case it was a full HP Spit F set, because we couldn't really tell before. And so Uxie goes down there. The Garchomp comes out here. I decided to go with the Ice Beam. I probably could have just KO'd with Surf. I think Surf actually might have been smarter just in case they had a Yachi Berry. But either way, we still completely had it. This is the last turn of rain. And, what do they got? They got Shuckle and Gliscor. You know, not like 2 mons that are actually really, really good. Garchomp was a mon in the top 10. What is it? They had Gliscor was a mon that was number 2. So they had mons, and the reason why we won is we made a team that beat those mons and didn't let them do the things that they wanted to do. So it's super, super important. You can see, easy, easy, easy. And, you know, hopefully you guys can replicate this in your own games. We're going to go hop into some games. I'm going to show you guys how to play the team live. So, wish me luck with that. All right, GLHF. That is a good team. Infernape in the top 10. Breloom in the top 10. Latios in the top 10. Gliscor in the top 10. Really, really good stuff. The biggest problem here is getting spored by the Breloom, I think. Or maybe even, like, we need to set a rock so we can break the Skarmory sturdy. But Taunt's also a problem from Infernape. I'm still going to lead Uxie. I think there's a high chance that they lead with Latios or Gliscor. There's Gliscor right there. Cool. Yeah, Gliscor's fine. Stealth Rock's up. Knockoff. Yeah, I like it. Ooh, knockoff hurts me. I need my rain. That's fine. Do I still set it or do I just go to the Azelf? Let's think about that. That's important. I need to have like 6 turns of rain. Or 8 turns of rain because I need to break the Rotom. Let's think about this then. I'll Psychic once. Yeah, I think they're in a U-turn here. Yep, there's the U-turn. Cool. I didn't want to switch Azelf in a U-turn. So that's one of the reasons why we have Psychic. Because right now we don't want them to know what we're doing. But let's see how we want to set this up. Breloom comes in here. So we just want something to get put to sleep. So we're going to go to Donphan, then we're going to go to Azelf, and then we're going to force the switch from Azelf and we'll pop a Rain Dance there. So we just let Donphan go to sleep because we don't really need it. And go right to the Azelf to block the like Mach Punch Bullet Seed or something. There's a switch to Rotom. I think it's going to be okay. I'm going to Psychic this guy once. I know this is not going the same way the flowchart would going, but you can see the team still has options here. I would love to hit this thing. And if they go into like Skarmory or something, I'll just taunt it. Yeah, that's great damage. Just puts him within range for anything. Yeah, I'll just taunt the Skarmory and just be in a good spot. They're going to go for a knockoff here, so I'm going to get my Rain Dance off and then I'll just win the game. Cool. Show me that knockoff. Thank you. Come again. Now, we don't even need to use our Memento here. We can just come in with the Gorebyss right now because the Rotom's too low, you know? He has to... you have to go for Defog here, otherwise, like, it's over. No way that you just stay in here either. No way. You're switching to Rotom. Yep. And we already talked about it. Rotom can't eat it. Shell Smash. Look at all the turns we have. It took a couple turns extra. But again, this guy has like all Pokemon, like I said, that are in the top 10. This Surf should definitely be able to KO. And then we got a +4. Look at that. 567, 18. Look at those stats. Look at it. It's ridiculous. Yeah, bro, can't do anything here either. Just Ice Beam this guy. He's probably thinking, there's only 2 turns, there's only 1 turn left on the rain, I'm gonna be fine. It's not fine. Not fine. Yeet, delete, repeat. It's just that easy. It's just that easy. Rotom was a little bit problematic, and I'm glad they let us Psychic it, but yeah, there's not that much they can really do here, you know? All those Pokemon in the top 10 have common weaknesses to things like this, and you can definitely take advantage of them when you're building your own teams. There's the Infernape, and look at this. We had just enough turns to win the game. There's the Mach Punch. We talked about that being a problem, but you can see, like, it doesn't do enough. We want to always be around this much health, so they can't do anything. Look at that. Look at that win. Look at that absolutely massive win. We didn't even use the Memento. We used, like, Azelf. See, it's always a good idea to double up on the things that you need to work. We needed those secondary range setters, because if they just knocked off our Damfrock like they did that game from the Gliscor, we would have had no other way to make it so that worked. But it did work, because we doubled up on the things we needed to work. So let's go another one. Let's play one more game and see if we can get another sweep. Here we go. All right, this is the perfect game, right? This guy has every single one of their Pokemon are in the top 10. Every one of them. So how do we want to deal with this? I think you should still lead Uxie. I think Uxie is still a great lead here. Let's see if the Scizor. Not Scizor. Yeah, Garchomp's great. I was going to say I thought it'd be Gliscor, but let's see it. We're just going to pump the Stealth Rocks. We're going to probably trade Rocks. Outrage in my face, huh? You can see how it doesn't do as much. Remember, we have 156 points in defense. So yeah, we're going to be absolutely fine. I wonder if we should even Rain Dance here instead of just Mementoing. I'm still going to Rain Dance. Yeah, hopefully they get confused. Yes, that'd be really good. So if they hit themselves here, we get a free Memento, and they're going to be at -2. They might just Hard Switch here, too. And then whatever they switch into gets Mementoed. Oh my goodness. You'll love to see it right now. That's a +1. Tons of fun out here. Yep, it's Gorebyss time. Cool. And we're just going to go for Ice Beam. It sucks because, like, they probably want to... Are they going to stay in Spore? No way. No way. They're switching. They're switching. They're totally switching. They're going to switch to, like, Starmie. I'm going to Shell Smash then if they're going to switch. Yo, Clefable switch? That works. I'm going to Hydro Pump this thing. Actually, do I want to switch like that? Let me think about this. I don't want to Shell Smash twice. Not here. I'm going to Hydro Pump, though. Let's go! It's a lot of damage. Moonblast is not going to be enough. Special Attack Drop sucks, though. That's really, really bad. Surf will still KO here, but damn, that Special Attack Drop's really, really not great. It's really, really not great. I told you that they wouldn't be Tekken Thunderbolt, and they're not. Let's see. Realm gets taken out. Starmie's the best play here. Scizor, okay. Hydro Pump will KO from here at +1. I can actually Shell Smash again, I think. What are you going to do? Try and U-turn me? That'll probably KO, actually. I'm going to go for the Hydro. Oh, that hurts! That hurt, man. Who's coming in? That freaking hurts. If I would have went for the Shell Smash, though, I'd be dead. So, like, that's fine. Surf, it would have been nice to stick that, but it's not the end of the world. Again, I have to just go for another Hydro. Maybe we'll crit or something. And then we're just going to rinse and repeat. Oh my god, there's no crit. We take those! Look at that damage! Starmie ain't never even heard of it, yo. I'm going to go for another Hydro. Bullet Punch won't kill me. I'm thick! Let's go! Hydro D's, Hydro Do's. There's the Garchomp. So they outspeed us right now. They totally outspeed us. You can see 280 versus 333. They're going to outspeed. That's fine. I just kind of let this happen, right? We're going to go for the punish. I don't want them subbing. Like, I don't want them subbing. So we'll let them outrage. We'll send out Azelf. I wonder if they're using... Let me think about this. Like, I know that I just sent out Azelf. I wonder if it's Scarf Chomp. That's kind of what I'm wondering here. Try and Rain Dance? It is Scarf Chomp. Okay. But it's not enough to take us out. It's going to be really, really good. Second Rain Dance, and that's basically just going to make it so Kingdra is going to be fine, I think. Alright, so this is locked into a second Outrage here. Yeah, hopefully Kingdra still outspeeds. Kingdra's 414. Garchomp is potentially faster if it's full speed Scarf Chomp. So Survey says, what you rocking with, Chief? Let me think. Oh, I didn't put Ice Beam on this thing. It should be Ice Beam over Flash Cannon. I'm an idiot. Has to be Dragon Pulse then. Hit itself a Confusion. It was faster, but we take those. Chomp's down. That's great. That is great. Yeah, I should put Ice Beam on this thing. Definitely should put Ice Beam over the Flash Cannon. So think about doing that in your own games. Flash Cannon's cool for Clefable, but you don't really need it. This guy's so mad. This guy's so mad. Oh, man. I think we can take this thing out with the D-Pulse. Specs D-Pulse? Yeah! That's what I'm talking about! Double up on your strengths. We may have lost the Gorebyss, but we had a secondary sweeper in the back. And we're going to be able to take this. And the bulky Kingdra coming in hot. Great game. There's the scoop against a person who had 6 of the best Pokemon that the meta could possibly make. We still got the wins using a super cool team. I am going to switch up this right now. You can also switch up the Kingdra. You could put in, you can keep the Flash Cannon. You have to cut one of these. And I think you're better off with Ice Beam. I think Ice Beam's just really good coverage for grass types. And it was the Brelum for me right there that I really wanted to keep the Ice Beam for. But Flash Cannon's up to you. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, think about leaving a like. Think about letting me know if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Because, you know, I like making cool teams. I like sharing them with you guys. And other than that, hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys and girls, everyone. I'll see everyone next time. Peace out.